Good afternoon, everybody. This is Taylor Robinson back again with the Leadership Lens. We thank you for being here. And today we have probably one of the most interesting conversations I think that we're going to have on the history of this entire show. Today, as our guest, we have Cody Johnson. Cody Johnson is a high impact CEO with a distinguished track record of leading organizations through complex transitions, multinational expansions, and high stakes liquidity events. He currently serves as the CEO of SCS Technologies and is a recognized leader in the energy transition space, specifically focusing on critical infrastructure. He has a CV that would blow your mind in regards to his credentials in his education, which I won't get into all of that. But Cody is a genius, let's say, and a very, very interesting person with a lot of information to give today. And in fact, before we jumped on this call here, we were having a little bit of a chit chat. And Cody, first off, thank you for being here. But secondarily, we were kind of talking about what you have discerned as being five, maybe the five critical roles that a senior leader needs to play to execute properly in times of uh, transition, in times of difficulty, in times of complexity, in times of not knowing really what the hell's going on. How do we lead our organization through this? So thank you very much for being here, Cody.
Yeah, Taylor, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Appreciate that. Appreciate the introduction. My wife will make sure that she counteracts all of that when I get home to make sure my head can fit in the door. Um, so yeah, and let me say, a lot of what we're going to talk about today, I picked up at Harvard Business School executive education in my coursework towards my certificate of management excellence in a course called Leadership in Uncertain Times. Um, and so yeah, the five elements of leadership during these times that we need to keep in view or leadership is beacon, uh, leadership is coach, a leader is an innovator, leader is change agent, and leader is architect. And what I like to do for myself and what I do for all of my direct reports is during our biweekly one-on-ones, we talk about which one of those elements of leadership do you think current events and but internally with our company as well as the macros that we're responding to, which one do you feel like are most important for the
Mm.
team right now? Which one are most important for your group? Which ones do you feel like you're doing a great job, and which ones do you think you're not? And maybe you need some support or you need to spend some more time there. So yeah, it gives us a nice, tight, defined way of thinking about leadership from a 360-degree point of view.
Well, I love that because, when you think of, we'll call it five critical roles that a leader can play, you really can't play all five at the exact same time. You have to bounce from one to the other, and sometimes being one is more important than the rest. And you might have to be just one for a few days, a few weeks, a month, whatever the case may be. But I love that you're talking about your team about discerning which of those roles is most critical today or this week or what have you, whatever the case may be. But determining that based off of some outside issues, whatever's going on. So that's a great way to kind of look at it. And it also gives you as a leader and buy-in and confidence that your decision is being backed up, I guess, by the people around you, because sometimes you might have a differing opinion of who you should be at that critical time. But if you can get their buy-in and their opinion as to kind of how you should be acting and how they should be acting, you're all very much on the same page, and you've got kind of more buy-in from the entirety of the group. So that's great. That's great. Well, let's kind of go through these in order, if you don't mind. I mean, the first one you said is beacon, which is a very cool word. I'm not completely convinced that I could tell you the exact definition of beacon. Beacon of truth is kind of what I go to. But how would you describe beacon in regards to this conversation?
There's two elements to it. One is we talk a lot about, which is being visionary and setting a clear vision. And the second one is then walking the talk. So there's a few elements that as we dig down into that we really think about. As all organizations, we love our acronyms and our and our internal identifiers. One of the things we say a lot internally here at SCS Technologies is 343. And what that means is we believe to get everyone to understand a vision and to get in alignment with it, each of us has to say it 7 times to 7 people, 7 different ways. 7 times 7 times 7. So 7 cubed is 343. In several of our conversations, I'll ask people, "Well, how close do you think to 343 are you? Is have you said it 7 times, 7 different ways to 7 different people, or have you said it, 7 times, 6 ways to 2 different people?" Where are you at? Which one of those 7 do you need to work on? Um the other one is, again, understanding that our colleagues are watching us. They every minute of every day, and they're taking signals off of us. I'm always surprised that everyone in the organization knows exactly where I parked. I could park 6 blocks from here, like behind a Taco Bell, and I'm convinced that everyone in the building would know exactly where I parked. People are watching us, and they're watching for signals much more important, obviously, than where we parked our vehicle. So understanding that we've gotta be very intentional, with our message, that we've gotta get it out 7 times, 7 different ways to 7 different people. We've gotta be consistent. People are always watching. And then the last element, which is perhaps the most counterintuitive for a lot of people that I've mentored with leadership, is that it's it's typically more important who you repel than who you attract. And so a vision should both we always like thinking about the positive part of being a leader, or the cuddly fun parts, the non-controversial parts. But, a very effective vision, a very clear vision is going to attract all the different stakeholder groups, whether that be shareholders, investors, bankers, employees, vendors, OEM partners, community members. uh, it's going to attract people that believe in and want to be part of that vision. But just as importantly, it should repel the ones that don't,
Mm,
in a
mhm.
very clear way, so that they have an opportunity to make a choice. And it doesn't make them a bad person, doesn't make us a bad group of people. But that's not the journey I want to take at this point in my life. And it's because so many times failure to achieve an objective isn't because you didn't have the right people with you, it's because you had 1 or 2 of the wrong people.
This is awesome. This is great. I'm thinking back to my own world. I can't help it. And I'm in the executive recruiting space, and we talk about attraction a lot. How do we attract the right people to this opportunity? We don't talk a ton about pushing away the bad people. That more some comes through the interview process and us kind of realizing that they might not be the right person and whatnot. But I got to plug real quick because one of the things that we've been doing for a decade now, to attract and to give more information to the market about the business, the role, all these different things, as we do video job descriptions. And one of the big pieces of that is I firmly believe that the standard job description, which hasn't changed in 50 years, is made primarily for the hiring company. It's an internal document that you have created to say, what is this person going to do? What are the qualifications that we need? And it's really a piece for you. It's not a piece for the candidates. The candidates, who are the right candidates, know what this job is. They need to know kind of who the company is. But in regards to attracting the right types of people, how much growth is in this role, how much leadership capabilities is in this role, are we breaking into new markets, are we developing new products, what are the things that I really want to know. And today's job descriptions don't even scratch the surface of doing that. They are an internal document, and we flip that and we say, okay, here's a great internal document, now let's make it an external document that people will read and say, great, now I actually know what I need to know. And I get to watch a video of the hiring manager who's going to be my boss tell me in their own words, what is this person's goals? What is the type of personality that is successful with this team and in this type of a role? And what does this company really do? Let's talk about coach. This is one that I think I've got probably a little bit more understanding of, and thank you for that eloquence description of Beacon. But let's talk about coaching and kind of how that fits in with leadership.
Yeah, so once you have your vision set and you're walking the talk, now you need to motivate and inspire people. And so good leaders uh, are frequently different from good managers, I found. And one of the things that I spend a lot of time with my direct reports, who are all executive level people, are making sure that they're being very intentional about each one of these 5 steps. And the intentionality with regards to coaching frequently involves, are you intellectually separating what it takes to be a good manager from what it takes to be a good leader? And a big part of the leadership piece is inspiration and motivation. Inspiration and motivation, we have to remember that not everyone's inspired by the same message. Some people in our organization are going to be um, inspired and motivated by gain. Others are going to be inspired and motivated by the threat of loss. Some are going to be inspired and motivated because of what this does for different stakeholder groups. Some it'll be for them. They're coin operated. How much money am I going to make?
Hmm.
Some it's going to be for their community. You know, what does this do for my community? Are we doing good in the world? And so you need to really inspire and motivate each stakeholder group. Think Be intentional about how you're going to inspire and motivate each stakeholder group. We don't just have one, we don't just have customers, we don't just have employees to think about. We have investors, we have community members, we have vendors, we have bankers, so on and so forth. So thinking through and having a very intentional, targeted plan to inspire and motivate each stakeholder group, and then each type of personality inside that stakeholder group.
Hmm. Yeah. I again, this isn't all about me, but I've got another tidbit to kind of go along with that, in that every year I have everyone on my team take a different type of assessment, personality, leadership, what have you. We take a different assessment every single year, and we have someone, many times it's an internal employee of ours who's an executive coach, go through the results of that with us. So we can all hear what everybody's personality is and whatnot. And about 3 years ago, we took one and he went through the different motivations of people. And I have continued to keep that in mind when I need to motivate my people. I've got someone on my team that he wants everyone to be cohesive. He wants everyone to get along. He wants the process to run smoothly. So when I need to change his actions a little bit, I say, if you do this, it's going to make this person's life a lot easier. You're going to be able to communicate with them. Like, you two will be in sync with one another. And then there's other people, to your point, that need to be motivated a little bit differently. But I love that. I love that. Do you guys do leadership assessments? Do you do, sort of kind of team trainings and things like that? How do you foster that? And how do you come to the realization of who this person is? Because sometimes it can take you 6 to 12 months to identify how people, what their motivations are.
Yeah, so we have a toolbox of assessments that we use that we're given access to. We're owned the our majority ownership is Black Bay Partners out of New Orleans. It's a private equity group. And as one of their platform companies, we're given access to assessments and to coaching on how to use those assessments.
Hmm.
We also use Gino Wickman's EOS Worldwide system,
Hmm.
which is built around gets it, wants it, can do it, and
Yeah.
then
We run
the
EOS as well.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so those are some of the tools we use, and we have, external consultants that work with the group over a span of years, so they get to know us, and they're able to importantly, give us an outsider's view looking in, uh, they're professionals at assessing these things, assessing us, assessing our communication with each other, and they're able to give us some coaching on that as well, which is very helpful.
Mhm. Do you use any of that for hiring decisions as well?
All of it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Not obviously at the executive and director level is where that mainly comes in large part because of budgetary reasons. But yes, our hiring process, is built around it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, let's move on to innovate or innovation or some likeness of the word. I can't remember exactly as you were
Innovator,
saying it
yeah.
though, but innovator. There you go. So tell me about
Mm.
innovator. This one out of all the ones is the most interesting to me because sometimes the leaders and innovators, sometimes they're not. And they have people that kind of do that for them. So tell me more.
When I had an opportunity to study this at Harvard, we actually spent several days in Harvard's innovation lab, which was an incredible experience, to really get a flavor, for this. And a couple things about innovation. Essentially, it's exploring new products or services. That's the objective of the innovator, but how you go about it, is incredibly important. And again, that you're being intentional of going about it. And so, for example, in our company, the as leader as innovator, the role that when I'm playing that role, I'm creating more digitized experiences for our customers. Everything from we go from things that were analog to digital, then from things that were siloed to shared, and then things that were manual to automated. And then once you've taken that three-step journey, you're ready to create an AI agent to assist with the experience. And what that has done for us is it cuts out as much as 75% of the project management costs that our customers incur to purchase the products or services tangent to that. So if they're purchasing our equipment, they've got project management costs associated with that. This innovation cuts up to 75% of those costs out for the customer. Um, but one, the most important thing I think for leaders is, again, very intentionality as part of be very intentional as part of your vision. What is the innovation? If you can't point to one specific thing that is a major element of your strategy, of your vision, as part going back to Beacon, then you're probably failing as leader, as an
Mm-hmm.
innovator.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's at the enterprise level. Obviously, you can employ that as you go vertically through the organization. You can be an innovator in your processes and in your systems, where you're adding value in the business organization. So uh, I think then the second test for us is we want to, again, and I think this is something that's not said enough in leadership. With innovation, you want to fail often, you want to fail quickly, and you want to fail cheaply. And what doesn't fail quickly, often, and cheaply, frequently and cheaply, that's your money shot. That's what's going to work. Now invest in that. Too frequently, innovation takes forever. And we need a $10 million budget. We need two years to develop this product or service so that it's perfect before we can roll it out. I like to tell and we have hundreds of millions of dollars in our budget. I like to tell my people, what can you do with $500 tomorrow? And show me if it works or not. That that is that is where when you start, we talk about MVP, not most valuable player, but minimum viable product. Give me a minimum viable product that delivers value tomorrow for $500. If I see value in it, I'll give you 5,000. You got 2 more weeks. Innovate frequently, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work. I'm not going to give you $10 million in 2 years only to find out later, yeah, we made a mistake back in week 6.
I'm stealing so much from you with my business right now. I'm taking all of this. This is great. I just real quick because I'm not sure. I'd love to get an example from you real quick. You said that using this agent or whatever the case may be, your client has a project that they need to complete. You're providing them equipment, tools, what have you for that project, and yet you are providing them also with assistance in managing their project. How does that work? What do you mean?
Yeah, so we like to sit down with our clients and understand when you're purchasing our products or services, what are the transaction costs that are tangent to that? So you have a procurement person, what's their processes and what are the costs associated with that? Our products are technical products. They're very expensive products. You know, they average about $250,000 per modular piece of equipment. Um, so there's a lot of engineering involved. Project managers are typically highly educated, long experienced engineers. What are the processes involved with that? The equipment that we make is class 1 div 2, which means it can blow up, it can destroy property, and it can kill people. So there's manufacturing control hold points and inspections that have to occur along the way. What are the processes and what are the costs of those things? So understanding all the processes and the associated costs of the processes and the people that are tangent to you supplying your products and services to your customer, if you understand what those are and you start stripping cost out of those processes for them, you'll have a customer for life and your
Yeah,
competitors can't follow you.
that's great.
So for us, how we did that, for example, we looked at the manufacturing control hold point issue. Uh, for us, frequently that meant our customers had to fly in from whatever city they were in. They had to put it on their calendar. They had to buy an airplane ticket. They had to fly to Houston or to Midland or to Shreveport or to Tulsa, depending on which one of our factories the equipment was being made at. They had to get a rent car. They had to get a hotel room. They had to stay 2 or 3 days. They may have to hire outside inspectors in the area, and they had to record all this. They had to report on it, so on and so forth. A huge amount of resources, both time and people resources. Um, so when we were able to turn that process to one that could be done digitally and remote,
Right.
that's recorded, transcribed, and tagged in time by AI, and we ef- equipped all of our technicians in our factories with real wear glasses so that you can be on a cruise boat. You can be at home on your couch. You can be in the south of France on vacation. If you have a device and an internet connection, you don't have to be in Tulsa. You don't have
Yeah.
to be in Midland or Shreveport or Houston. You log in, you're seeing exactly what our technicians are seeing. You're able to talk to them because they have a microphone in the glasses. You're able to ask them, "Hey, can you can you actuate that valve again? I didn't see that, or I saw something that felt suspicious, or can you look at that connection again? I want to double check that." And the whole time, Copilot is recording and transcribing this and bookmarking it. So later, a year later, if you say, "Hey, when we were actuating that valve, I had a doubt and I asked the technician to go back and do it again. Can you show me that?" Our AI brings you right
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. That's a
Um,
beautiful thing.
so no flight, no hotel room, no rental car, at home every night for dinner with the family. You can go see your kids' volleyball game, soccer game. You're home in the evening, this time of year to play golf if you want to, or shoot sporting clays, whatever your thing is. And very importantly, you're freed up to do higher level things. You're not disrupted by being on the road all that time. So that's one of about 7 different elements, that we offer that helps us achieve this cutting 75% of project management costs that are tangent to the product and service that we manufacture out of your business. Well, when none of your competitors are doing anything yet to address that, and you've got a 3-year head start on them, Um, that's a good innovation. Again, we started this with one employee, a $500 budget, and some off the shelf software.
I love it. I love it. The next one here seems natural to the conversation. We're going after innovator here into change agent. So tell me how those are different. What's the difference here?
Yeah, so a change agent is you're really looking at all the different systems, all the DNA of an organization, all the people, and making sure that everything aligns. So, I've been a CEO of 4 different, companies in my career. I started and sold 2 other companies during my career. Um, have gone through a lot of changes over the last 35 years, both internal and external. And one of the things that you always have to understand as you're going through these changes is, do you have the right business organization? Um, is that does that business organization have the right processes and procedures that match up with your vision, that match up with where you're going and what you're trying to do? Do you have the right people in the right seats to execute those processes and procedures? Do you have $300,000 people where really you need one $200,000 person that can get it and can do it? So as change agent, you have to check on each and every part of the processes, the procedures, the human resources. Are you collecting the right data? Is it being reported at the right cadence to the right people? The time that you discuss all these issues and you go through all these things, is that at the right cadence? Should you be meeting with your team weekly, biweekly, monthly? Here we have certain data that's reported and meetings that we have or group work sessions to go through that data and decide what responses we need at every level of the organization, both vertically and horizontally. We have what we call war cadence. And so we get certain information weekly. We have groups that meet about that and make decisions. We get other information monthly, other information quarterly, and some information annually. Some of that information, we're very intentional about which stakeholder group does this affect most? What part of the vision does this affect most? How does this fit in with the other points of leadership? What we're seeing in this data, how does that affect us as Beacon, us as coach, us as innovator?
Hmm. Well, I don't know if you said these in order, but I feel like innovate, change agent, and now we're going to talk about architect. They all go together. It's very simple for me to make the connections between all of these different five leadership capabilities or maybe hats that a leader needs to wear at any given time. Um, did you put these in order when you sent them to me, or did you just was that off the top of the head?
Well, no, I can't take credit. It's neither. It's the order that the
Okay,
person
so
who
so
actually
it
came up
was
with this at
intentional by
Harvard put it
somebody
in.
at
Yeah.
some point. Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about architect. I mean, you're talking about change agent. You're talking about looking at the organization in a holistic view. You're talking about the processes that exist with it, what different people's roles are. Are the right people in the right seats? Do we have too many seats? Frankly, we don't really need all these people. Then we talk about architect, and so that feels like it flows very much into that. So architect, change agent. You need to look at it holistically. You need to go through these war games and lay things out, which depending on the determination of that would cause you to change things as needed. But architect, how is that different than change agent? Because I feel like change agent is not possible without the architecture and
Yeah, it
the
really brings in the point of flexibility and adaptability. So have you designed this entire system that we've talked about over the last half hour or so? Have you designed this system to be adaptable, to be flexible, to be sustainable? And so remember, one of the things we started talking about in the beginning of our conversation was that one of a leader's main tasks is to always be ready for change. and to be ready today to live in a volatile environment. I heard someone on a podcast a couple weeks ago make a claim that was interesting. This leadership expert said he believes that that this generation's CEOs, there's a reasonable argument that this generation's CEOs are the best CEOs that we've had in modern time because we've had to react to
Mm,
so many crises, from COVID, the housing crisis, internet bust and boom, oil's bust and boom, so on and so forth. And so one of the things that we've become good at is being adaptable, being flexible, and building organizations, designing, architecting organizations that are sustainable. With that, we want to understand w what what are the both internal and external pressures, operating environments, that we're facing today and that we might be facing tomorrow. Again, our company at the moment is living through one, very volatile times where, in the last 12 months, we have lost, the North American energy industry had lost about 35%, of its market share to the Middle East. Um, Over the last 2 weeks, now the Gulf, the Straits of Hormuz are closed, with the military actions going on in the Middle East. We have to produce as much American crude as we can, not only for economic reasons, but for global stability and global security reasons. Um, so we went from having to lean down and to do more with less to we need you to double what you're doing and we need you to do it overnight with very little notice. And so we believe that we have built a business, we've architected, we've designed a business, and we've designed a leadership team. We've prepared a leadership team, a culture that's able to handle peaks and that's able to handle valleys. Um, so yeah, so that sort of brings it full circle and gives you all
yeah.
five elements of leadership.
Well, let's just say on that real quick, you did a great job of explaining where your industry and business is in this exact point in time. Which of the five traits are you having to exhibit the most right now?
Yeah, so for us, it's the architect and the change agent piece. So we are, as I told you earlier, before we started recording, our company is. I'm leading the company through a merger. That merger is going to create the largest company, both of scope and scale, by far in our industry. Um, and we're gonna essentially triple, um, in as an effect of this merger that should close March 31st. Um, and so there are gonna between that internally and externally, what our American energy is facing with really we're the only swing producer on the planet that is not vastly affected by war at the moment because the other two swing producers are Saudi Arabia and Russia, which both have uh, military actions on their home ground
Mm,
and can't get their product out at the moment. So the United States is the only swing producer on the planet. So we have both internal and external reasons to make sure that we're ready to handle those changes. So that's where I'm focused at the moment.
it's exciting stuff, man. Wow.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Well, Cody, I can't thank you enough for being here. This has been absolutely one of the most interesting conversations I've had. So many learnings have come through this. I think people are going to truly enjoy listening to this discussion and frankly, really kind of a presentation on your point. That's kind of what this has been. Taking a lot of the learnings that you gathered over the years and your willingness to share that with us on a platform like this where anyone can access it. Feel very, very fortunate to be somebody that's able to have you on the show, ask you these questions, give you kind of a voice that's so wide netting in this regard. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that we can stay in touch moving forward. And again, just thank you for the education.
Thank you, Taylor. It was a great conversation. I enjoyed joining you today.
Thank you.